welcome to the GrandLAN video blog for books that came out on December 30th, 2009. As always, I'm Craig, your host. Happy New Year to everybody. Posting this on New Year's Day. There's one comic to talk about. There's a couple of promotional Magillas over there to talk about, but I figured also, since I had you here, I'm going to talk about my best of 2009. I thought about it, whether I was going to do it or not. I always, wishy-wash at the end of the year. Am I going to bother making a best of list? Because somebody's just going to say, well, you missed this. It's probably true. I'll probably miss a couple of books, but figured let's give it a shot. I put together a little list to talk about. First of all, Blackest Night number 6, the only comic on the shelves. Big coup by DC Comics, by the way, to make this the only worthwhile comic on the shelves December 30th. That was very, very smooth. It seemed like as the whole fiasco unwound from a retailer standpoint, Marvel said, well, we're going to do another party, and we're going to give away some free things, and there's going to be some fun little stuff, and there's going to be a variant of a book that's already a month old, and blah, blah, blah. And then DC jumped in and said, you know what? I see your little party idea, and I raise you a new issue of the crossover, the big event right now. That's a huge coup. It's a very good job done by DC. On the other hand, however, it is Blackest Night, and you know how I feel about it. I see. I'm wishy-washy. It's a good story. I'm kind of like, nah, I'm on the fence. I'm enjoying the story, but I can't help but read it without saying, so, are these people still going to have rings after Blackest Night? What's going to happen to all these rings? Especially with the developments here in number 6. Are Wonder Woman and the Atom and the Flash and, are all these non-Lantern characters going to be lanterns now? Are they going to have lantern rings now? Is that how it's going to go? Like, there are so many rules being broken at this point by Jeff Johns in terms of, characters. Would he kill off that character? Nah, no, there he goes. He's dead. Is he going to give a lantern ring to Wonder Woman? Yep, there you go. He just did. There are so many status quos being shattered. Jeff Johns just keeps pushing the boundaries. And somewhere inside of me, that cynical fanboy is saying, that's not going to stick around in 2 months. This is going to end, and we're just going to go back to something that looks a lot like pre-Blackest Night DC Universe. So here's my challenge to DC. You supposedly have your post-Blackest Night planned out. Dan DiDio won't talk about it. And, in his interviews with Newsarama, he just keeps saying that's post-Blackest Night question. Ask me after Blackest Night. Things will be different after Blackest Night. You'll understand. If I give you the answer to that, you won't understand it because you don't understand post-Blackest Night DCU. Fine. Make it a change. Make it an actual change. I dare you. You haven't been able to do it with Infinite Crisis. You haven't been able to do it with a lot of the crossovers that have happened in your company. If you're going to throw the gauntlet down this time and in such a high dramatic fashion, do it. Make a post-Blackest Night DCU actually interesting. Other than that, it's a fun story. It's a good crossover, but it's actually stopped being a snuff film, which is nice. Marvel produced, and I just got to grab it off the front of my register here, this Origins of Siege book, which, looks okay, but the prologue isn't all that great. I think Siege of the Cabal was a much better prologue. And of course the 2010 calendar, which is very fun, and it's got an Avengers Communicard in it, or an Identicard, and I always loved those. A good friend of mine, Stephen Shen, wrote the Marvel Superheroes 80s TSR game and had actual Avengers Communicards put inside, and I always cut them out and cut out my school photo and put it on there. And they used this really nice 70th anniversary art, which I was okay with, except for then we started kind of getting these pictures that if you were gonna post this somewhere, most of these are okay, and you'd be able to hang it like in an office or somewhere and still be respectable. And then you have like that, specifically the Miss Marvel. Really? Come on. That belongs in a garage somewhere. It's like a Playboy calendar. So anyways, I totally missed the counter. That's how I feel about that. Best of 2009, as I looked back on it, I gotta say, in terms of best writer, hands down, Greg Rucka. Stumptown launched, it's only got one issue out, but it's fantastic. Detective Comics just rolled on. Anything he touched was fantastic, amazing. And it was real close between him and Paul Dini, because I always love all of Paul Dini's stuff too. But Greg Rucka did much more amazing things, I think, in his body of work. His books were more impactful, more interesting, and he did have the benefit of working with J.H. Williams on Detective Comics, one of the best books of the year. So Paul Dini definitely deserves an honorable mention. Dan Slott and everybody on the Amazing Spider crew, they're doing a great job. Jonathan Hickman is just rocking Marvel, coming in Fantastic Four and Secret Warriors and telling some really fun stories in both of those books, doing a really excellent job. And some great writers still out there. Brubaker really has dropped off. Bendis has kind of dropped off. You know, these guys they used to be on my radar a lot more, and they're kind of, you know, falling behind. Brubaker, in his defense, would still be on my radar had I not disliked Captain America Reborn so much. That really hurt his look, you know, in my opinion. Artists, it was a close race. J.H. Williams again on Detective. You got Marcos Martin on Spider-Man. You got some great artists out there doing some really fun things. You got Brian Clevenger, Scott Wagner. Which one of those two? Atomic Robo. The artist of Atomic Robo doing a great job. The writer of Atomic Robo is doing a great job too. And I always get them confused, and I apologize. But really, I think it comes down to John Romita Jr. I've always been a huge fan of his style. He just lit it up in Amazing Spider-Man. He did Amazing Spider-Man 600. That alone deserves, you know, some sort of award. Just fantastic, fantastic work. 50-some pages of front story. Yes, Kick-Ass is late, but he's done an amazing job with Kick-Ass, even though it's late. And I'm starting to suspect that Marvel is actually making it late to increase the buzz and stretch it out towards the movie. I have a feeling they've got it in the can and they're just screwing with people. And then to top it all off, he drew the Dark Reign, the List, the Punisher. Probably the only important Dark Reign, the List one-shot, watching the Punisher die right before Rick Remender puts him back together. But an amazing piece of work, and really shows the evolution of his art style since he started working on Kick-Ass to draw some extremely graphic things. It's not usually associated with John Romita Jr., but he did a great job this year. A couple of standout projects. Best title, I'm a sucker. I know, I gotta say it, Amazing Spider-Man. 36 fantastic issues. Some extras, some annuals, some one-shots, some tie-ins. The Forgettable Web of Spider-Man, I don't really like it, but Amazing Spider-Man as a title, you cannot match not only the volume, obviously, but the consistent quality of the book. Detective is a great book. Fantastic Four has been exciting since Hickman's gotten on. There's some really good stuff. Streets of Gotham. Boy, I'm trying to think. There were so many great comics this year. It was a very exciting year. You know, and you asked me 3 years ago, you know, would I ever stop reading Ed Brubaker's Captain America, or would I stop reading Daredevil? You know, and I'd say no way. You know, but really, it did come down to that. Daredevil kind of recovered now that Andy Diggle's on it, but for a while there, it just seemed to drag on, and there were good stories. But again, much like I felt in Bendis' run, you know, you didn't have to read it. You could just kind of let it go and not read it, and it'd be fine, and you weren't really missing anything. And the last thing, I kind of ripped off the Best Rookie title from the Project Fanboy Awards, which voting is now closed yesterday, but I'm sure you saw plenty of plugs throughout December, and I hope you all voted. Project Fanboy is a great site. They support me, and they do some great stuff, and I really appreciate everything they've done to build us up and talk about the video blog. But they had a Best Rookie title, and I kind of stole that as a category because I kind of liked it. It was really close. I thought about it, and I felt that there was really a neck-and-neck race. I think the Mighty and Chew were real close, and I think I have to give it to Chew. Chew was just a phenomenon. It was just going above and beyond. I mean, it went into something ridiculous, like 6 printings, you know. The first trade paperback's out, and we still sell it like hotcakes. I swear I've sold like 5 copies here at the store. That doesn't happen with any trade paperback, you know. It's just like, okay, it's just right off the shelf, just that quickly, because people want it so badly, and they've heard so many good things. And when they get there, it's not overhyped. It's a fantastic story. The Mighty, definitely a close second. I think the Mighty was hurt by things that showed up that were very similar to it. Savior 28, Irredeemable, all inferior products, but all kind of in the same idea. And I think that definitely hurt. I want to put Stumptown in there, even though there's only 1 issue. But again, Greg Rucka is my best writer of the year, so you know I'm kind of, you know where I'm hanging. Some great stuff. Secret Warrior started this year, worth a mention. It was a mighty Marvel year, let's face it. DC put out some okay stuff, but Marvel really isn't knocking it out of the park. They didn't do a big event. They wrapped up Secret Invasion, and they kind of did this Dark Reign thing, which wasn't really a big event. And DC got the big event thing with Blackest Night, but Marvel just put out some really consistently good stuff out on the fringes. So, that's all I got to say for 2009. Of course, wrapping it up on January 2010, I'm always going over my limits. But hope you all had a great new year, and we'll see you next week with hopefully a full slate of comic books. Thanks for watching.